Today, friends, family, and community members gathered together to remember a longtime Nacogdoches barber who died last week. East Texas News Weekend's Mariela Gonzalez reports those who knew James Milford, owner of Milford's Barbershop, say he leaves a legacy spanning decades that will live on.
James Milford is, well, to me, the best dad ever.
Melissa McGowan has worked by her father, James Milford's side, for over 30 years. Her grandfather, O.C. Milford, became a licensed barber in 1938. He was located on Main Street before her uncle and father moved into the Church Street location. Hundreds of people, including county and city leaders, Mayor Randy Johnson and County Judge Greg Sowell, walked through the barbershop this afternoon, looking at displayed photos and sharing their memories.
It doesn't speak enough of him because he was so well known, but it does say a lot about what he gave back to his fellow man here in this community. Just a wonderful representation of him with everybody that's visiting today.
President of the Nacogdoches Breakfast Lions Club, Les Littleton, says Milford was a founding father of the organization in 1978. Littleton says they presented Milford with a plaque in September commemorating 45 years of service. Lions Club member Chris Graham says Milford donated labor to build projects to benefit the club.
I would say he's legendary, memorable, a very strong, loving man that loved his community and the people of the community.
Bert Ayers of Nacogdoches and police sergeant says Milford was someone everyone looked up to.
So Milford's Barbershop and the family Milfords, they're a landmark for Nacogdoches.
McGowan says she is thankful for everyone's support during her family's loss.
It's been hard, but at the same time, I'm very proud of my family and the legacy, and I hope to keep it going as long as I can.
Mariela Gonzalez, East Texas News Weekend.
Milford's daughter says for the first time after 85 years, they will soon be accepting credit and debit card payments at the barbershop.